Meeting order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
John, will you please do roll call?
Oh, well. Annette Schreiner.
Here.
Karen Ford.
Present.
Bryan Davis.
Here.
Jeremy Supel.
Here.
And Deborah Beavers.
Present. Thank you. Welcome to the board meeting for the Bryan BPA for Monday, July 13th, 2026. First on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the June 30th, 2026 meeting. Everyone, you have been given written meeting minutes, and you've had time to review them. Are there any corrections to the meeting minutes? If there are none, may I please have a motion to accept the minutes from the June 30th, 2026 meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Bryan.
Yes.
Karen.
Yes.
Annette.
Yes.
Jeremy.
Yes.
And Deborah.
Yes. Next on the agenda is the hearing of public concerns. Seeing none. Moving on. Next on the agenda is the Clerk-Treasurer's Report. John.
Yes, the board has received the normal financial reports, bank statements, bank reconciliation, and the like for the month ended June 30th. A little different that we're doing this at your first meeting of the month, but the calendar works, so we'll probably just continue to do this instead of the second meeting. I don't have anything else to add.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for John about the June 30th bank recs? If none, may I have a motion to approve the Treasurer's Report?
I'll make a motion, we approve the treasurer's report.
Second.
Karen?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Annette?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
And Deborah.
Next on the agenda is Utility Department's second quarter project updates. Derek.
Good evening. Got just a brief slide deck for you tonight on the second quarter project updates from the departments, and I'll also just have a brief overview of the financials for both of the funds. I'll start with the water department. Take a look at the actual revenues and expenses versus the budget. On the graph to the left there, the blue is what we would expect to see through the second quarter end, and the green represents the actuals. Total revenue through the second quarter was $1.54 million. That exceeded the expected year-to-date target by $154,000, and that represents 55.6% of the annual budget compared to the target of 50%. On the expenses, total through the second quarter, $1.65 million, which is $123,000 above the expected year-to-date. It represents 54% of the annual budget compared to the target of 50%. Just a note, during the second quarter, the department did make approximately $300,000 in payments for debt service or maintenance-related payments. That would be for Town Line Road, EMI debt service, and water top maintenance agreements as well. So we would expect that to level out for the rest of the year. Overall financial performance remains favorable, doing $30,000 better than what was projected. And then just taking a look at the water fund balances, the combined fund balance totals $4.16 million for the second quarter. That's a $70,000 increase compared to the beginning of the year. And the 502, the O&M fund, that decreased by $115,000 year to date. Reflects normal operating activity and expenditures. Also, we talked about the three big payments that we just made. And then the 525 in the capital fund, that increased by $186,000 year to date. And that's primarily from the transfer that was completed earlier during the year. Overall fund balances, they're stable. We continue to support ongoing operations and capital improvements. Any questions on the financials? If not, we'll turn it over to Jimmy to talk about the project.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hi.
I'll begin with our water distribution crew, then I'll move forward to our water treatment plant, and then lastly we'll finish up with what we're looking forward for the remainder of the year. So for our water distribution crew, in April, we were able to conduct the 100 block of East Beaman water line project. That was roughly 370 foot of new 6-inch PVC water main installed with 2 new services. After that project, we went into the 800 and 900 block of Navarre Avenue. That was an 8-inch PVC water line, and that was about 520 foot with 9 new water services installed. This spring was in our favor. We had great weather, so the crews were able to conduct that work in a timely fashion. For our system repairs, we had 3 fire hydrants within the city that were repaired, 4 water services, 1 main line valve, and 2 water main breaks. Currently, all fire hydrants are in service within our distribution system. And one of the water main breaks that you may know of is the one on South Main Street that just happened last week. That was a 12-inch PVC break that the crews responded to. Additionally, they also installed 6 new residential water services. And with all those projects that you see up there with the water service repairs, the new installs, along with that comes with the concrete replacements with the sidewalks, the curbs, the road patches, and all the yard repairs as well.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So were the new residential water services concentrated in one area?
No.
No.
They're spread out throughout the city.
Okay.
They're only concentrated just with the main projects. Moving on to water treatment. Our Rosemont meter got calibrated by BPA Engineering. This is our main master meter, so to speak, for our water treatment plant. It tells us our daily production 365 days a year, so it's very crucial that we get that calibrated. Our crew conducted 11 in-house backflow testing throughout the utility. We installed a battery backup on our chlorine scale, so if there's ever a power outage, previously if there was a blip, we'd lose our total chlorine weight on our scale, so our crews would have to go in, reset the tank. And then that's just a move that's unnecessary to have, and if we don't need to touch it, we don't have to touch it, so they're able to put that battery backup on that scale. With the help of Mike and his crew, we were able to upgrade our security cameras throughout the water treatment plant facility and add an additional monitor for our crews. When it comes to our EPA compliance, annually our crews are required to update our emergency contingency plan and review emergency scenarios. That has been conducted and completed. The 2025 Consumer Confidence Report has been completed and has been distributed throughout the city and to customers as well. Annually, we are given a monitoring schedule from the Ohio EPA that is completed for 2026. That consists of the lead and copper sampling that we have to do, which is 20 samples, our nitrate sampling, and our disinfection byproduct sampling. Moving on to upcoming projects. This week we have our Northwest District meeting in Lima, Ohio, and in Fremont in September for AWWA. It's a good time for certified operators throughout the state to come together and kind of collaborate, network, and get our continuing education hours. We host those 3 times a year within the Northwest District. The interior painting will be conducted on the Bryan Tower this fall, and that will be conducted by USG Water Solutions. And that's part of our maintenance service agreement that Derek discussed earlier. Our red sand filter cleaning will be conducted next week with Atkins Sanitation. This filter is about 90 foot by 55 foot. It's what captures our iron sludge from backwashing in the water. And every 3 years we have this pumped out. It's usually about 6 to 8 inches of sludge on top. It's about a 2-day project when they're all said and done. Lead service line inventories, those have been a continuous update with planning with the lead service plans that are due next fall and the updated mapping that are due next fall as well. We're getting a good head start on that. So our next project that we'll probably have is our header and control valve. We'll be getting those valves from Ross Valve. The expected arrival date should be sometime in August. This has been pushed back a couple times now, but it sounds like they're Their header valves and casting molds have been completed, and they're getting ready for final testing and be shipped out to the water treatment plant. Earlier this year, we provided information to Courtney and Associates for our water rate study. That hopefully will be wrapped up this year. And then as you see for our water system improvements, we've been working with Jones and Henry to kick off our general plan. We've had multiple meetings with them, giving them additional information that's needed for the general plan. And then Bennett and Williams Hydro Phase 1 and 2 will be completed this year as well. Next up, the remaining water lines that we have to take place is the 300 block of South Emmett Street, the 300 to 500 block of West Bryan, and the 700 to 900 block of East Mulberry Street.
Question.
Yes.
Are we doing those in-house or are we bidding those out?
For the remaining water projects, so the first two that you see, the South Emmett Street and the West Bryan Street, those will be in-house. We're currently waiting on how BPA to get back with us for approval. And then the 700 to 900 block of East Mulberry Street, that'll be conducted by Bryan Excavating, and they're projected to start at the end of August.
Thank you.
Moving on to the electric department. Looking at the, again, the actuals versus the budgeted total revenues and expenses. As mentioned earlier, the blue is expected through quarter end and the green is year to date. Total revenues through the second quarter, 11.19 million. Exceeded the expected year-to-date target by 787,000. This does represent 53.8% of the annual budget compared to the target of 50. Total expenses through the quarter, 10.37 million, which is 107,000 below the expected year-to-date. This represents 49.5% of the annual budget compared to the target of 50%. Overall financial performance remains favorable. Net position is 893,000 better than projected. And taking a look at the fund balances, the combined electric fund balance totals $22.5 million through the second quarter. We have $3.43 million increase compared to the beginning of the year. The 501 O&M fund increased $822,000 year to date, reflecting overall positive operating activity and cash flow. 515 electric capital fund increased $1.61 million year to date. And again, that's primarily due to the capital transfer that was completed earlier in the year. Overall, the electric fund balance is strong, supports ongoing operations and capital improvements. Question on the financials? Okay, we'll go with Jim.
We'll start off with the generation, see where we are up to date. The current 1CP had held out from January until July 1st. You can see the number up there, excuse me, 24.9, and then the PJM 5 CPs are all right there. This week for PJM is looking at being at 150 and above for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday currently. Those forecasts are obviously can change as time goes on or as the weather system changes. But those would knock out the bottom three very quickly, and possibly even the bottom four from there. The 1CP, we are doing really well through there. On July 1st, about 5:21 p.m., GT1 tripped offline. What we found when we looked into it was that the transformer had overheated and the protective relay sent out a signal and shut GT1 down. We brought a barn fan from Auglaze. We started putting water on the cooling fins because there's no fans on that transformer, and we had never had an issue with that transformer since its inception. So by 6 o'clock or a little after 6, we were able to bring it back alive. However, of course, that says 1800 when it is, and that's 6 p.m. So we were at full power across the board until about 20 after 5. So I'm not sure how the average will work for that hour, but we still had everything else online besides GT1. Also, those few days through that first week of July, we were running to 9 p.m. because AMP was saying that we could get favorable LNP pricing, the location marginal pricing, because about 815, 820, a megawatt would go up to $1,000. And so we were putting out 12,000, so that's why we brought GT1 right back up, even though it was 6 o'clock. And we have about 14,000 coming from GT1 and 3 or 4 from GE and another 2.4 from Norberg. So it might not be quite as much once they do the averaging for the transmission CP, but we are going to help with the cost from the other side. So it's disappointing that we're in this position, but we still have a lot of summer left, so we're hoping for another CP. And what we also did was the transformer that we changed out for the GE and the Norberg, it has fans. So as soon as we got the one cooled down and that operational again, Tom and another employee started taking the fans off of the old transformer that's sitting there, and we installed them on the Jordan transformer. And we're running it with extension cords right at the moment, but we have plans to do some permanent stuff in the future for that. But from then on, everything is staying, 6 to 8 degrees cooler, just with having all those fans on. So we've mitigated the situation quite a bit. And that's where we are in generation. The Auglaize was online at that time, so we were making funds through that revenue stream also. The other things in the power plant, the transformer and bursting surge arrestor replacement that was on that transformer, that went all well. We've had no issue with that. We've tripped now, let's see, 5 times we've generated on that transformer. Also, Entrust came over when we were installing it and testing it and gave their approval, so we tried to get another third-party eye on it for some extra, okay, did we do everything exactly the way we were supposed to do it? And they concurred. The GE Black Start system, maintained and operational. There's a picture right there on the left, along with the overheating issue. But we had a couple cylinders. The power plant guys rebuilt it in place. So all we had was about $1,000 in parts. It would have been multiple $1,000s if we would have had somebody outside come in and fix it. And then we just, after we got it started, they went through and tuned it all electrically, because once again, even though it's running like it's supposed to, if you're trying to draw more power than it's designed for, it's going to overheat. So we tuned all that so that it was set up correctly. And then over there is part of the power plant is the maintenance building, and there's Josh had one of the loaders in from the water department. He's done a great job for us, and he PMs everything like it's his religion. So we're thankful for that, very much so. Down to Auglaize, some of the stuff we had to do was we had a lot of debris coming this spring, so we got all that cleaned out for the intake side. Also, if you know, we have a newer employee, and so we spent some time there after we got it cleaned out, letting him run the equipment when it wasn't, game time, so that he could get used to the controls. Also, we used the mini excavator to mow the banks on the west side of the Auglaize in order to control vegetation over there. It also helps us keep an eye on the groundhogs so that we can fill those holes in and not get a breach on that side during high water. So he's doing really great. The solar field has an inverter failure right now. The part is supposed to come next Monday. So right now we only have half of a solar field. The parts, I asked our Jim is our contractor that helps us with that. I asked him if there was a better inverter that we should start looking for. He says, well, actually the ones that you have, he's had less trouble with than the ones that everybody else has. Okay, so I guess we'll keep it. But getting the parts is getting to be a challenge because they're actually an obsolete inverter. But that's supposed to be repaired next week as long as everything goes to plan. During that hailstorm that a lot of people got their roofs and siding done, we had some panels go out. We had spare panels here, so those were already replaced. And then there's just a picture down there of the mowing, and vegetation for some reason has been quite a challenge this year. And weed killer has probably quadrupled its cost. 5 gallon or a 35 gallon thing was, $200-300. Now it's $1,000-1,200. So, I'm sorry, Karen?
Oh, just a question when you get,
Oh, okay.
I just wondered if the problems with the solar field are why we're about half,
Yes.
the
there's 2
generation
inverters
is
out there.
about half.
There's 2 inverters, and there's only 1 phase out of the inverter, but obviously you can't turn on a 3-phase inverter with one of them missing.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're at half right now.
I just noticed it was down about half of what we were normally at in June, and I thought the sun was still shining. What's the problem? So, thank you.
Yep.
So you mentioned that the inverters are getting hard to come by because they're obsolete, right?
Yeah, the parts are still available, but there's a long lead time because they don't keep them on the shelf. But they don't make that inverter anymore. And that's why I asked him, I'm like, okay, which one should I go to? He goes, well, these are actually less trouble than the other ones. It's just when the parts, they're sometimes hard to get because we gotta wait. I'm like, well, would I have to wait any longer? He goes, 6 weeks is normal.
What do they cost?
The
inverter.
Seems like it was, how much a whole inverter cost?
What you're buying today?
Can't remember if it was 3,000 or 12,000. I know that's kind of a big thing, but, I just can't remember the PO. I know the one before it was $3,400 that we had to repair. But,
Should we be buying some extra stock and putting it on the shelf?
well,
I mean, when you look at the downtime and loss of production versus the cost of the material,
I haven't had a repeat failure yet. So,
while your equipment's aging,
yeah, and guessing at which part to buy, I guess that may be a challenge, but I can ask that question. I would be happy to ask Rick.
I just would look and see at least what's the long lead items.
Yeah, if he's had any experience with repeat for this type of inverter, yeah, we can look at that for sure.
And you had mentioned that you had panels in stock for is that stock running low also to kind of piggyback?
I haven't been out to the trailer to see how many is left, but there's a container out there where we keep everything. So I will get those numbers.
That's all I have for questions.
For the electric distribution projects for, I guess, the summer quarter, had an update in the spring. I call this the summer quarter again. So we had on order 3 16 or 69 kV overhead gain switch remote switching or motor controls for that. They were supposed to be in, I believe, in June, and they got pushed back to October, so we won't be installing those till probably this fall. This year, we also went out for competitive bid and secured a 100-foot bucket truck through Terex, which it's looking at we're going to receive that truck probably by the end of the year, so that would be good for that. Autumn Chase was an extension. I believe it was 11 lots that we served out off South Portland Street and extended to the north of Autumn Chase. We installed the secondary cables, had the transformers and terminated the cables, and also waiting to establish the services for those lots. I do know we have 2 street lights to install, which the pathways are in there. We just need to install the wire in the street lights. We've been working up on the north side of the square, the Dave Swanson's building there. We've energized a three-phase transformer there and a single-phase service. I know their electricians are working on all the secondary equipment. They did a nice pod out there, if you haven't been up in that area where Essel's parking lot is, but it's a real nice concrete pad. They did a really great job. These are Swanson's guys that did that. Pretty impressed with that. But we are waiting to hook that up and get them on. I know they're working digitally up there with their what we got going. The Arts and Ed building, we removed a three-phase transformer there, waiting for them to do their addition, and we'll reinstall that at a different location. We did provide them with a second, a temporary, just a small service for running their chillers and stuff for what they have left there for a three-phase service that they need. East Wilson Street, Daggett Substation, all the way to roughly just east of L.E. Smith. We had the rec house and overhead conductor, 16 kV, 345, and 12 kV circuits. All that stuff is down. I think we have a few more poles that's cut off. But we've been into other projects here lately and haven't been able to get back to it. We're using that for some filler stuff. Marcus Corridor and distribution line clearance has started. I think we're in the 4th week with them. They've been working on hotspot areas around town on the distribution. We'll follow up with Marcus Corridor 138 trimming, probably more late summer, get to that. We did a project at the Williams County Courthouse, a joint project. We installed a three-phase service and also a single-phase service up there, one for serviceability to the courthouse, and also to replace a real bad cable that was there from, I don't know, probably 30, 35 years ago. And then we're also going to provide a single-phase service and a meter-based combo unit up there for community events and things up there through the chamber. That's all going to be completed here soon, and we hope to have all that done as long. And we are replacing all the other pedestals that we have up there that are aging because we remove them, we install them, they get worn out, the breakers and things like that. So we did, working with the electrician that the chamber has hired and redoing some of that stuff up there. But that's basically all about all these out on South Main Street. We provided a three-phase service for them and three-phase transformer. That's all hooked up and ready to go. And we have on order a three-phase recloser. No, we actually have the recloser here, but new primary metering is on order. And a controller. We've gotten with Entrust, our engineering group, to work on the programming and settings that we need for that. But we hope to have that pole and recloser and all that installed probably before September. I think it's, we have an outage planned, I think, in October for that, in a honey line. And we need to have that everything in place and do that conversion within I don't know, it's probably like an 8-hour day to get done, hanging metering and everything, get them back online. So that's all in order to happen this fall. Let's see, over here at this building, we're upgrading the service. Right now, this is a three-phase 12208 240 service. we're gonna change this building to single phase because the only three phase we ever needed, I believe, was an old air compressor we had in the bay over here that's long gone years ago. So we're working with trying to get some of these flickering lights and stuff that people see up in the front office, try to get that worked out. We did run a primary conduit, which we directional board from the transformer back here at the fiber building down to here. We're gonna set another transformer, and we already had a conduit put under the concrete pad for that we thought about years ago to provide that underground service and get rid of the overhead bank and stuff that we have out here. We contracted with an electrician to come in and do all the inside work. We are mounting a automatic transfer switch for future backup power if needed, and also outside disconnect out here. So that's something we kind of involved in. Finally, the Fountain Creek Senior Housing Project is kind of came on to us pretty quickly this year. We were able to secure 16 free game meter bases for them, and they've since have paid our fees for that, and also gotten all their wiring permit fees and that more. They do still have a transformer and cable fee that they need to pay. And then we're going to be installing, the contractor has installed all the conduits, box pads, and junction boxes for the project. And we need to pull in the conductors and do our terminations. And that's coming soon. We're meeting out there actually tomorrow to address a street light conduit that was in the way of their drive approach. So we're working with them. Seems like daily on things, but yeah, they're really going to town on that. And I believe that's it. Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
Sorry, Al, they call me daily too. Apologize, but it's been a lot.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
So I'm going to be going over the communications department projects, and we're going to start off with the JFS building. In the first quarter, we had run a fiber into the JFS building for the county, and they had requested a second pair of fiber going into that building. So we were able to use this existing infrastructure that we already ran and run another pair. Went the other way around the ring with it. And then we'll go down to the Raised Drive Metalink job. So last summer, we were notified that that Raised Drive fiber that we have that go down Raised Drive that ends up going north into Metalink would have to be relocated. So we were able to run a new 24 count from our splice case on Town Line in Oakwood down to Raised Drive, where we went underground through the rear easement, and S&S bored that for us. And so the weather kind of stopped us last year, so then we were able to this year get out and do the splicing. We had to coordinate a big outage with Metalink. That's a pretty important fiber for us. Metalink gives us a connection to our Auglaize Dam for SCADA and internet, and also we lease Metalink a dark fiber for their own purposes. So that was a pretty big job for us. The D&D building, the county D&D building cut over. Again, last year we had kind of started doing that. They were doing some remodeling inside the building. We had fed an office on the north side of that. We were, due to their remodeling, we had to move our DMARC location, and we kind of got stopped due to the ice that was in a conduit. So this year, once everything got unthawed, we were able to, or got thawed, we were able to finish that job and get the DMARC, and we ran a new 6 count into there and terminated it. And that's up and running now. Let's see, installing installing new splice case cabinets where our old node cabinets used to be.
So our old HFC system, we had 63 nodes out there. And if you've driven around, you can see that they're rusting out. We've repainted them over the years. We've replaced what we can. We're out of stock of good ones. So now, since we don't really need all that room in those node cabinets, we've been, in the first quarter, we sent out the crews to remove all the hardware out of them, send all that stuff off the gov deals. Now we're left with the big node cabinets. So you can see in the bottom left-hand picture right there, that's the new node cabinet. It's actually the one sitting out here right in front of the water department right now. So it's a little smaller base, smaller footprint, looks a little bit better. The old one had the batteries in them, so those batteries are what caused a lot of the rusting. So we shouldn't have that problem with our new ones, hopefully. The new ones, that is a stake-mounted one. There are, so most of the old node cabinets had a precast base underneath them that kind of came off with the node cabinet. It busted up anyways. So it's real good, so we were able to use the stakes. There are some node cabinets that we were, over the years, we had to pour concrete bases that were pretty thick, actually. So in the areas where we had poured concrete, they're like a foot thick, we just bolted those right down to the concrete, and it actually looks really good. So yeah, we're going to continue to remove those as we go around the town, and we try to do the ones that look worse first. We get complaints, we try to get those knocked out. We do have some of those node cabinets, the old bigger ones, we still have batteries and power supplies in because that's what we power our AMI system through also. So those node cabinets, we're either going to paint as we go if they need it, or some of the good ones that we take out that haven't been rusted out, we're going to save those and then put those in the locations where the AMI cabinets are right now. So I think there's like 10 of those locations, so there's not a whole lot of AMI ones, you know. So Daggett Street substation. Again, this is another job that we got had to stop early last year because of the weather. With the deconstruction of the Daggett Street substation, we had fiber that was looping through there, and it was also on the pole lines out front. Some new metal poles had been built, so we had run a new fiber down the metal poles to completely bypass the Daggett substation. So we had run that last fall, and again got stopped by the bad weather, so that was something we were able to finish on this quarter. Got all the fusing done. Pretty much got ourselves out of the Daggett Street substation. And then we had to remove the old fiber, so we removed that, which was nice because we actually gained a cabinet at the Daggett Street substation. There was an environmentally controlled cabinet. We were able to take that out. We're actually probably going to put it over by the South Street lift station right now. We have a switch in the lift station, and sometimes getting access to it because the wastewater treatment plant currently owns that building, and getting keys kind of tough. So we've been debating whether to put that cabinet at the South Street lift station that gives us better access to it for our customers and everything if we ever needed to. So that brings us to pole transfers. That's something we do all year. We try to really focus on it, in the springtime. But we have these bad storms going through and this crazy winds pulling things down. We got fiber all over the county, and it's very important that if something were to come out of a clamp or something, that we would get that put back up because whether it's farmers in the fields or whatever, anytime you have a low fiber hanging, if that gets cut, we can't just fix it right away. It's gonna be a big job. So we try to take the county route every couple times a year, especially after storms, and then a lot of times too, you'll have Northwest Electric, BMU, and Toledo Edison. We have connections on all of those poles. So they might just do a pole transfer, and so then we need to remove our attachment from the old pole to the new pole so they can remove it, stuff like that. So, and then we have the Office 365 migration. That was a really, really big job for us. It took a lot of time. many hours. We had to go to every PC in the city and BMU. That's 181 users total. We have 3 guys. Those 3 guys have other responsibilities throughout the day too. And they did a very good job. I can't compliment them more about how they multitask, and when things would come in that needed their attention on the spot, we were able to put off what we were doing, focusing on the fire, and then get back to the job. And I can't commend the RIT department enough for how well they got through everything. As far as I know right now, everything's up and running. We have one little issue with a voicemail, but we're dealing on that. Cody was working on that today. Hopefully by the end of the week, we'll have that fixed too, so. And then, any questions about any of our current projects? So some upcoming projects we have, the new Arts and Ed building, we're gonna have to run a new fiber into that, going into the south side of that. I've talked with the contractor, they're gonna run the conduit, they're gonna bore under the road for us, have it all ready. So that should be a pretty good one for us. We get requests from Artec quite a bit. We've gotten requests to provide the last mile of service for a cell tower on South Street. So I give them a quote, price of materials plus 25%. Hopefully we can, do something with that. It's a nice little dark fiber connection. Parkview's looking for another dark fiber connection also. We already have everything in place for that, so that's an easy one for us. So we'll hear back from, they're contacting Artec, and Artec is just contacting us, so we'll hear back from Artec whether or not they're gonna move forward with those projects. The Montpelier Parks and Recs office has a fiber that is damaged going into it. Somehow, I don't know, that fiber's still working. It is literally tied in a knot, and I don't know how that happened, and I don't know how it's still working, but that is something that we do need to get done before the ice comes this year, because once it gets some ice on it, it probably won't last right from there, so. And then we also have the electric switching pole fiber construction, which is something I had for an upcoming project, but we actually knocked that out about a week ago. I had the guys run fiber from Splice Case over here on our 96 count. And we run 3 different fibers to 3 different locations that the electric department is going to have their remote switches and automation. And so when in October those switches come in, we'll be able to finish that install. Right now everything's fused in the case and ready to go, so we're ready for that one. So, and that's my last thing. Did anybody have any questions?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So for the second quarter for the engineering department, we worked with the water department on a couple water main replacement projects out there, keeping records, creating as-built drawings for the 100 block of East Beaman Street and the 800 block of Navarre Street. We created plans for the 300 block of South Emmett Street and submitted those plans to the EPA for approval. Worked on a number of projects with the electric department, keeping records, once again, creating as-built drawings for the Dave Swanson building at the northwest corner of High Street and Main Street, the Fountain Creek Senior Villas, and also the new Aldi's on South Main Street. As always, with these projects, we are continuously updating our GIS with these projects and also any miscellaneous repairs or revisions that come up throughout any day. That's a lot of what we've been working on in the second quarter as the engineering department. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Anybody have any more questions for the department heads? No? Okay. Next on the agenda is to effect the semi-monthly disbursements, so pay the bills. May I have a motion to pay the bills, please?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Deborah?
Yes.
Annette?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Next on the agenda is comments from BPA and Staff. Derek, would you please go first?
Just want to thank the department heads and their staff for all the work they do. I think you've seen just a small sample of what they do on a daily basis, so thank all of them.
John, do you have anything?
I do not.
Come back to you. Yeah, no, I know. Go ahead.
I know, no, I have nothing.
Department heads, do you have anything else you'd like to add? No? Okay. Deborah?
Thank you, department heads, for the updates, and it was especially interesting to hear information on the updates, improvements for the new housing and new businesses in Bryan. So that's always good, besides just the regular maintenance that you have to do. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Same thing, appreciate it. It's nice when things just work, and you guys make that work, so thank you.
Karen, anything else to add?
I thank all of you for coming and explaining what's been happening, and it all looks good, and you're doing a good job, so thank you.
I will repeat the same thing. Appreciate you guys. Realize how hard you guys really work and keep this utility going. So thank you very, very much. With that said, we're going to take a brief recess and then go into executive session to discuss the hiring of public employees and consult with the city attorney concerning pending litigation.